Hi, welcome to Polyphonic Press. I'm Jeremy Boyd.
I'm John Van Dyke.
And today we're going to be talking about the return of the Walkman. Here we go. Alright, so Sony has, or is planning to bring back the Walkman, and it's not actually going to be playing cassettes, but it's going to be playing like high-end audio files, sort of like Neil Young's Pono device. I think they're kind of looking to compete with that in North America anyway. They've actually already released this in Japan, and it seemed to go over
Sony
really well.
Release a digital file like system?
Yeah, it was cassettes. It was on cassettes. It was like 100 or like hundreds of terabytes
No,
worth
I mean, we were talking about this earlier between the Pono. We were trying to talk about earlier what was going to be win out, Pono device, or was it Sony's other digital box?
Yeah, it was the mini disc.
That was it, the mini disc?
Sonny developed the mini disc.
Yeah, was that what that was?
Are you talking about recently?
Yeah, just recently.
Recently, it was a system of it was actually cassettes that they were using to store data on, and it was like like hundreds of terabytes worth that you could store on. And then
I've been talking about, I mean, before that, still recently, but before that, we were talking about like it was like a home console or something like that.
That's right. Yeah, a few years ago, or like
about
a year ago or so ago. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there was something that they were trying to do.
So it's probably
with
the same files.
Probably,
releasing on this thing.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything else about that home system.
No, neither have I. I've certainly heard a lot of the Pono lately.
Yeah. You know, I mean, this is something that Sony has always tried to do. I mean, they've tried to compete with the MP3 by bringing out the mini disc, which was a complete failure. You know, they developed the Betamax tape back, and then the VHS took over. But actually, the Betamax was a better product than VHS. But VHS, for I guess the people who made VHS were just better marketers.
They probably got out there and there's probably more movies available on VHS.
Yeah,
than there was on Betamax.
Yeah. But actually, TV stations still use Betamax tapes to this day, which is like that's how good the quality of video was, and that was back in the late 70s, early 80s. Yep. So, you know, it's not that they never have good products. It's just they seem to be missing the mark in the marketing department, maybe, or just whoever's running the company seems to not really have the best ideas. You know, and they've the video game system, I was just reading in the article, basically video game systems, Xbox beat out PlayStation, although that seems to be shifting in the other direction now.
It's kind of waffles back and forth.
Yeah.
Every once in a while. I know PlayStation 2, when it first came out, this is 15 years ago, it was huge.
Yeah.
People were talking about that.
Yeah. And that was when the first Xbox came out.
Yeah.
And then I guess the second generation of Xbox took over from PlayStation 3, and now I don't really know if PlayStation 4, they seem to be handling themselves better than Xbox, as at least what I've heard.
I know nothing about it. It's not my...
So Sony is an odd company in that they've sort of cornered the market in a lot of ways, and they've developed a lot of really innovative things, like the Walkman was really a huge step forward in terms of portable music.
I actually have a first generation Walkman.
Oh,
I should have put it out for display, but
so they've really been at the forefront of technology development, but it seems to be hit and miss with them. I guess it's depending on who's running the show and who's doing the things. I don't know if they're going to be able to compete with Neil Young's Pono device. The advantage that Sony has, I think, is they have the name. Whereas Pono, this is their first...
It's their introduction. But then again, they've got Neil Young's name.
That's true.
So...
yeah. So that's part of the reason why I'm not going to be buying one of these high-end audio devices anytime soon, is because, you know, if I buy the Pono, and it ends up being Sony's version is the one that is the hit, then, you know, and if Pono falls under, you know, I won't be able to get any music for that, and vice versa with the Sony thing. So it's a little too early to tell who's going to actually win the high-end audio battle. But Sony really doesn't seem like they're hurting very much. I mean, they make TVs and Blu-ray players and all these things, and they
make everything.
This is really one area that they might have a disadvantage on, but they're not, as a company as a whole, they're really not hurting very much. So
yeah, I think they're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah. So anyway, let us know what you guys think of the comeback of the Walkman, as it were. You know, do you think you'll get a Pono device, or will you get one of these Walkmans? Are you even interested in high-end audio devices? Do you already have a Pono device, and do you really love it? Let us know in the comments. Be sure to subscribe so you know when we post new videos. You can check us out on Twitter and Facebook. Follow John on Twitter @FunkyDutch. And you can also check out our website, polyphonicpress.com. All those links are in the description, and that's about it. I'm Jeremy Boyd.
I'm John Van Dyke.
Take it easy.